Well, to the UK now, and it's just 4 days to go until the coronation, but it's not all going smoothly. A man has been arrested outside Buckingham Palace in London after throwing what appeared to be shotgun cartridges into the grounds. Police carried out a controlled explosion following the incident on Tuesday night. Despite this, the UK Security Minister has insisted protests will be allowed to go ahead on Saturday. Arise international correspondent Faith Orr reports.
This man, held against the railings, is accused of throwing shotgun cartridges into Buckingham Palace grounds. Police say he'd asked to see a soldier, but was told no, right before the incident. When searched, he was carrying a knife, but not a gun. He's been arrested on suspicion of possessing an offensive weapon, but the incident isn't being treated as terror-related. While being placed under arrest, the man told police they should be careful with his rucksack. A controlled explosion was then carried out on the bag. There were no injuries during the incident, and it didn't stop an overnight rehearsal from taking place. The Gold State coach that King Charles and Queen Camilla will ride in on Saturday rolled through central London in the early hours of the morning, along with thousands of members of the armed forces. On the day, 7,000 troops will take part in the procession, which will run down the Mall, through Horse Guards Parade and down Parliament Street to arrive at Westminster Abbey. The King and Queen will take the same route on their way back to the palace, which means spots to see the pair are highly prized, and some dedicated royal fans are already camped out waiting.
We are all excited to come and see what is going on, to see our first king after the death of his mom, our queen. So we are all here. I came last night. Annie was here early in the morning, but we were able to sleep on the grass. And I'm so cold, that's why I can see Sarah. I don't feel I can't get rid of, shake it off.
Electric, festive, because we've never seen this before. For 70 years, we haven't had such show of Britishness. That's why all over the world right now, the only news is the coronation of the successor to Queen Elizabeth II.
But not everyone shares the enthusiasm for the royal event. Anti-monarchy groups say they've been warned not to cause serious disruption, since it's now banned as part of new public order laws. But Security Minister Tom Tugendhat insists these groups will be allowed to protest at the coronation. Around 1,700 people are expected in Trafalgar Square, holding signs saying "Not my king." But with world leaders and huge crowds expected to descend on London, the question is just how much will the police be willing to put up with? Faith Orr, Arise News.
With more on the coronation, let's bring in Arise correspondent Judita DaSilva, who joins me live from London. Good to see you, Judita. Let's talk briefly about that man who was arrested at the gates of Buckingham Palace after throwing shotgun cartridges into the palace grounds. Has anything more emerged about that incident?
Their investigation, the Metropolitan Police are treating it as a mental health breakdown as opposed to an actual terrorist attack. And the kind of disruption that happened, it effectively showed how quickly it could be handled, because the area around the Victoria Monument was evacuated. They performed a controlled explosion, and they wrapped it up pretty effectively. And I think that was a test to show the display of organization they have to handle whatever may happen, come what may. But beyond that, I think they've reassured the public that it wasn't anything more sinister. It was something it was easily controlled.
And I imagine, as you mentioned there, Judita, that beyond this particular incident, there's a huge security operation being put in place in central London ahead of the coronation. I mean, you've got loads of heads of state and leaders of countries turning up on Saturday.
Indeed, the Metropolitan Police Chief has said that this is the biggest security operation they have been contending with in 70 years. They're going to be deploying 29,000 police officers over the coronation weekend, but specifically on Coronation Day, it'll be 11,500 because they have to deal with the security details of world leaders, as well as dealing with the security details for the royal family and the king himself. So it's something that they're taking very seriously because effectively Britain is being put on display in a very different tone to what happened with Queen Elizabeth II, because that was fueled a lot more by emotion, which drove a lot of unity between church, state, and the people. And that made the work slightly easier. This is an official operation, and you're showing the world how well you can protect the world leaders the leaders of the country. So there's an added pressure to that because they never had to tackle something like this, as they said, in decades. But they say they're up to the task. They've been running drills. They've put out protocols. They've even the Home Office was rushed through legislature that says that any protesters, though you're allowed to protest, if they block railways, roads, or airports, they get 12 months in prison. If they chain themselves to any objects or buildings, they get 6 months in prison and an unlimited fine. So everyone's working in tandem to make sure this is a secure operation.
And of course, as you and I know, Judita, nobody throws the kind of pomp and pageantry party like the British. Is there growing excitement about the coronation of King Charles in London?
I mean, similar to what the gentleman said in the package you played, it doesn't matter, even if you're anti the monarchy, there's something about when Britain steps up to show what makes Britain great. Unlike any other country, there is a history and a tradition that goes, this is a family, when you think of the royals, that goes back all the way to William the Conqueror. The bloodline is written into the archives of history for the rest of time. In a lifetime, you may not live to see a coronation, but people, especially in 2023, where everyone is so tech savvy, everyone is so self-aware, to know that I get to see something that I studied as a child, I read books about, you go to libraries, and the relatives of the people dominate the pages through all the different corridors of those libraries around the world. In this moment, you get to see it, and Britain knows that. They're very aware of the position they play in history, and they don't take that for granted. And you know that come Coronation Day, everyone will have a moment to step back and say, you know what, whatever you feel or don't feel, they're excellent at showing who they are and how well they can do what they do.
Absolutely. So lots of enthusiasm there, but you also mentioned earlier a bit of skepticism. I wonder how much this has sparked the debate once again about the monarchy and its relevance to the UK.
Yeah, this is probably the shadow that will dominate the reign of King Charles III. Many have argued that in 2023, the right monarch for this time would be King William. But there has to be a stick to tradition. There cannot be a break in the line of succession. And he has to contend with living in a world that doesn't see how he resonates with who they are and the way things are. And that's hard. But then when you look at the actual mechanics of the people who don't believe in the monarchy, like the group, the Republic, who have had memos sent to them from the Home Office about the restrictions being put in place, they have said they're going to be putting on the biggest operation they ever have, but also because they realize the importance of this moment. And there was even a football match in Scotland between Celtic and Rangers where the entire stadium were chanting a very unsavory chant to show their displeasure with the coronation. 2023 Britain is very different. King Charles III must figure out how to navigate that, especially as a successor to a queen who navigated decades of change and seismic shift in nature of society and did so well with such poise and aplomb. He's got big shoes to fill.
Judita, thank you so much. And Judita DaSilva will be in the chair, from what I understand, covering that coronation for us on Arise News. She'll be in the chair in our studios in London. Judita, great to talk with you as always, and I'm looking forward to catching you on Saturday. Judita DaSilva there, talking to me from London.